Hello everyone, this is Tamzid. So today I'm going to take you through the periodic table of chemistry. Either you are doing O levels, A levels, or even university level chemistry, I think this is one of the most key thing that can change the grade that you want for chemistry. So I'll just talk about some basic things that is required, and I hope that I can take you through the most fundamental things of periodic table. So let us get started. So at first, I'm going to talk about the states of the elements in the periodic table. So as you all know that we have 118 elements in the periodic table, and let me just talk about the states. Now there are three states that we all know, that are solid, liquid, and gas, right? So if I talk about the gases, the first thing that comes in our mind is the noble gases, right? The noble gases. So all these gases are noble, right? And then if we talk about the other gases that are actually gases in the periodic table, are hydrogen. Of course, we all are surrounded by hydrogen. We're surrounded by oxygen, which is we breathe in, and the other gases, nitrogen, which we all are surrounded by. You know that 79% of us is basically nitrogen. So these are all gases, and there are two other gases that I need to talk about, is fluorine and chlorine from the halogen group. So in total, if I see that here are 7, we have oxygen, nitrogen, hydrogen, fluorine and chlorine are all the gases. So these are the gases. Now if I talk about liquid, now some of you might ask me that bromine is also gas, but bromine is not gas at 25 degrees Celsius, which is room temperature. Now bromine is a liquid in room temperature, and there is another liquid which we all use as thermometer, that is mercury, here in transition metal. So these are the only two liquids in the periodic table, and if I talk about all rest of the others, that all the other elements that are left with are all solids. So this is all about the periodic table states of matter. Now let me carry you through the charges of the periodic table. So as we all know that the group 1 consists of the +1 charge, the group 2 consists of +2, the group 3 +3, the group 4 usually forms covalent compounds, so they prefer sharing electrons. So in that case they form 4 plus or 4 minus if you just talk about the bonding electrons or the charges of the bonding. Now if I talk about the group 5 charges, that is 5 plus and 3 minus. At the same time, if I talk about the group 6, which is a little bit confusing, I know, for you guys, that is most of them just form 2 minus because they gain 2 electrons and they form an octet. At the same time they form 6 plus and 4 plus. Okay, so this is something that you need to know. 6 plus and 4 plus because of various other reasons, but remember that oxygen is something that will form the 2 minus charge and they will just gain 2 electrons. And as we all know that the group 7 always forms a minus charge because they gain 1 electron and they form 1 minus. So this is all about the charges that you need to know. Now many of you do ask me about the transition metal charges, which is actually very variable, I should say. They vary because they do not have fixed charges and they tend to form many things. But if I give you a short clip of what transition metals form, is that the first one of the periodic table does form 3 plus. This one forms 4 plus, usually I would say, but they can vary as well. This one forms 5 plus. This one forms 6 plus. That is, chromium forms 6 plus and 3 plus. These are the two charges of chromium. Manganese can form any charge, like literally any charge in the world. And there is iron as well, iron group as well, which will form 2 plus usually. Cobalt forms 2 plus, nickel forms 2 plus, and also these ones are like copper forms two things, that is 1 plus and 2 plus. Silver forms 1 plus and 2 plus, and also gold forms 1 plus and 3 plus. So these are the things that you need to know actually about the periodic table. Now students do ask me another thing about the metals and non-metals. I think most of you know about that this staircase line that is given over here, that separates boron, silicon and arsenic, the left ones are the ones that are metals, and the ones that are on the right are non-metals. And there are some semi-metals with you, which you can find here in germanium, arsenic, antimony, tellurium, polonium, and maybe acetine a little bit. So though semi-metals are not very important to know, but I think the metals and the non-metals are the ones that are very important to know. So as you know the name of the groups, because these are something that you can know, that we have 8 groups and we have 7 horizontal periods, which basically makes up the whole of periodic table. And if you want to know the name of the periodic table, we have group 1, which is the alkali metals, group 2 is the alkali earth metals, and this one is this beautiful thing, this D block is known as the transition metal. The group 3, 4, 5, 6, although we don't have a name for that, the group 7 is basically halogen, and the group 8 is noble gases. So these are the all things that I have covered up here for the periodic table. I think these are quite important information that you should know while going forward in knowing for chemistry. So I thank you very much for watching this little video, and I think this will help you understand chemistry better.